Okay, so you want to unpack this AI economic impact thing, right? We're diving deep into unveiling AI's economic footprint. And honestly, it gets kind of wild when you start peeling back the layers.
It really does.
We're talking a potential, what is it, like $15.7 trillion impact? But it's the link between automation, productivity, and the whole future of jobs thing. That's where things get complicated?
Totally. What I find really interesting is how the article doesn't just throw that $15.7 trillion figure around all willy-nilly.
It's not just clickbait.
Right, exactly. It digs into the why, and that's where the real gold is.
Yeah, for sure. It's one thing to say, hey, AI is going to add trillions to the global economy by 2030, but what does that even look like on the ground? You know?
Well, they use Amazon's fulfillment centers as a really good example, actually. They've incorporated robots in a way that's like more than doubled their efficiency, right?
Wow.
And think about how many packages Amazon ships every day. That's insane. The ripple effects of that kind of increased output, huge.
Absolutely. And that's just one company, even if it's a giant one. The article also mentions this Deloitte survey, right? I think it was like 67% of organizations are already using AI in some way.
Right.
And they're seeing the benefits too. So it's not just about robots replacing warehouse workers.
Oh, absolutely not. It's so much bigger than that. This is like a fundamental shift across multiple sectors.
I feel like we hear that all the time, though. Multiple sectors, fundamental shift. What does that actually mean?
Well, the article highlights manufacturing, healthcare, and finance specifically. Those are kind of the big three they focus on.
Okay, yeah. Let's break those down a bit, because each one has its own...
Its own flavor.
Exactly.
Totally. Like in manufacturing, companies like General Motors are using AI-powered robots on their assembly lines, and they're seeing crazy speed and precision. The article even quotes one GM exec. I think they said something like, it's not about replacing people, it's about, augmenting their abilities, letting them focus on more complex tasks or something like that.
That's an interesting way to look at it. AI is a tool to work with us,
Right.
not against us, right?
Right.
So what about healthcare?
Oh, man, healthcare's fascinating because AI could potentially personalize medicine in ways we've never even imagined. Imagine getting treatments tailored just for you or diagnoses in like a fraction of the time because they're based on your specific data.
That sounds amazing, but kind of scary too, right? But what about the ethics of AI making life or death healthcare decisions?
Oh, for sure, for sure. And the article does touch on that. They emphasize the need for transparency and, careful regulation as AI gets more integrated into these systems. It's a really rapidly evolving field. And
Those ethical questions aren't going away.
exactly, yeah. They're going to be at the forefront of every new advancement,
Yeah, but what about finance? It seems like every other day there's a new article about AI and finance.
It's a hot topic for sure. The article does a really good job of cutting through the hype, though, and presenting a balanced view. Like AI is already transforming things like fraud detection, risk assessment, even like personalized financial advice.
So we're seeing AI popping up everywhere. But what about its impact on productivity overall? The article called it the productivity puzzle, which I thought was a cool way to put it.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because we keep hearing these huge promises about AI, like it's going to revolutionize everything, bring us a new era of economic growth and efficiency.
Yeah, totally.
But it seems like the reality has been a little more bumpy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The article mentioned that early McKinsey report, the one that projected like a 1.2% annual boost to global GDP thanks to AI.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
When that came out, everyone was freaking out, like, AI is the future.
As they should. It was a big claim. But then the article brings up these more recent findings from Accenture, and it kind of muddies the waters. They found situations where AI led to productivity gains of up to 40%, which is amazing. But
Yeah.
the thing is, it's not consistent. Not even close.
Okay, so what explains the difference? Why is there such a gap between the hype and what we're actually seeing? The article had some theories, right?
It did. One of the biggest things they point to is the whole implementation challenge. You can't just throw AI at a company and expect everything to magically get better.
It's not an instant fix.
Nope. Integrating these systems, it can get really complicated, especially with older tech. And it often means a hefty upfront investment, too.
Right. And then there's the whole human side of things. The article talked about how companies need to actually invest in training their employees, address their concerns about, being replaced by robots.
Oh, absolutely. I think there was a quote, it was something like, the best AI implementations are the ones that see tech as a way to, boost human potential, not replace it.
I like that.
Right.
It's about finding that balance. You
Yeah.
know? Figure out what AI is good at, what humans are good at, and then...
Much pretender.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the article also went a bit deeper, right? It talked about some other reasons for this whole productivity puzzle.
It did. Like, for one thing, AI itself is still a work in progress. As cool and advanced as it seems, it's not like it can handle every single task flawlessly. Not yet, anyway. There are still limitations, especially with things that require, creativity or critical thinking, those higher level skills.
Right, right. Stuff that's harder to program.
Exactly. So it's not as simple as just plugging in some AI and calling it a day. Companies need to be smart about how they're using it, invest in training and support for their employees.
And be realistic about what it can actually do.
100%.
Yeah.
The article actually brought up some case studies, examples of companies that did this well and some that well.
I didn't.
Yeah, like they talked about this one manufacturing company, right? They went all in on AI and saw those massive productivity gains, the 40% ones.
Wow.
But the key was they invested a ton in training their people to work alongside the robots, redesigned their whole process around AI.
So they were prepared.
Totally. But then they talked about this financial firm. They put millions into this AI-powered trading platform, and it was a complete disaster.
What happened?
They totally underestimated how difficult it would be to make the AI work with their existing systems. Plus, they didn't really prep their traders for the change. So, yeah, it's a cautionary tale. Shows you how important it is to plan carefully.
Definitely. So it's a mixed bag out there. Some companies are killing it with AI, others are struggling. And it makes this whole future of work thing even more interesting, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like, what does all this mean for the average person listening to this, wondering how to thrive in this crazy AI-powered world?
The million-dollar question. And thankfully, the article doesn't leave us hanging. It goes beyond just the economic stuff and digs into the skills and mindsets people need to navigate this whole...
New frontier.
Exactly. Like, what do you actually need to do to succeed in this environment?
So where do we even start? What can people actually do to, like, not just survive, but thrive in this AI-driven world?
Well, the article really hammers home this idea of continuous learning.
Which, okay, yeah, we hear that all the time,
Well,
right?
Right. But it's different now. It's not just about keeping your skills sharp. It's about being ready to learn completely new things, especially anything related to data.
Makes sense. Data is like the lifeblood of AI.
Exactly. The more comfortable you are with data, the better you'll be at understanding AI, using it to your advantage. All of that.
So data skills are key. Got it. But it's more than just tech skills too, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. The article talks a lot about being adaptable, being willing to embrace new ways of working, because honestly, the jobs of tomorrow, they might not even exist yet.
True. It's kind of exciting though, right?
It is. It's about being ready to learn and adapt.
And the article also touched on the rise of hybrid work models. Is there a connection there with AI?
Oh, definitely. Think about it. AI-powered tools for collaboration are only getting better, right? So the ability to work from anywhere at any time, that's going to be huge.
So instead of worrying about robots stealing our jobs, maybe the question is,
how can we use them to our advantage?
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about. The article wants us to be proactive. Don't be afraid of this stuff.
Yeah.
Figure out how to make it work for you.
I love that. This whole conversation has been eye-opening. We went from those mind-blowing economic figures to the nitty-gritty of making AI work, and now to, like, the future of work itself. It's a lot.
It really is. And this article, honestly, it's just the tip of the iceberg. But hopefully it's given everyone a starting point,
Totally. A framework for understanding this whole AI thing. And if you're ready to go even deeper, definitely check out the full article, Unveiling AI's Economic Footprint. I learned a ton preparing for this deep dive, and I know you will too. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep on diving deep.